You already know what future you needs. Some money set aside, a body you didn't wreck, work that isn't all crammed into one panicked night. You know it, and you rob that person anyway, over and over, with a small, guilt-free shrug, and then you call yourself lazy or weak for it. You're not either. Your brain is doing something specific and strange under the hood, and once you see it, the whole fight with your own willpower starts to make a different kind of sense. Think about yourself right now. Your name, your face, the stuff rattling around your head today. Now think about yourself in 30 years. Older, slower, a life mostly lived. Here's the odd part. To a real degree, your brain files those two people in different drawers. Present you feels like you, warm and immediate and obviously worth protecting. Future you feels more like a photo of somebody you sort of know. Same name, technically the same person, but they read as someone else. A group of researchers put people in a brain scanner and had them think about themselves now and themselves years from now, and also think about a complete stranger. There's a spot in the brain that fires one way when you think about yourself, and a different way when you think about someone else. When people pictured their future self, for some of them, that spot behaved the way it does for a stranger. And the more someone's future self lit up like a stranger, the more that same person chose a little cash today over more cash later. This was one small study, 18 people, so hold it lightly. But it put a picture to something you feel every day. Sit with what that means for a second, because it rewrites your whole struggle with discipline. When you skip the workout, some part of you isn't dodging your own pain. It's spending a stranger's health. When you put the dinner on the card you can't clear, present you gets the meal, and a person who feels like someone else gets the bill next month. Every bad long-term choice is the same trade underneath. You, right now, real and hungry and tired, take a small thing off a distant person who doesn't feel real enough to defend themselves. Economists have a drier name for the pull behind this: present bias. Offered £100 today or £120 next month, huge numbers of people grab the 100, even though waiting pays better than almost any investment on earth. It's one of the most reliable findings they have. The future gets a discount, always, and the further out it sits, the cheaper it goes. Until a version of you decades away is selling their well-being to present you for pennies. And present you keeps buying, because from in here, it barely feels like a cost at all. So a researcher named Hal Hirschfield tried the obvious counter move. Make the stranger less strange. He showed people a digitally aged photo of their own face, themselves at about 70, lined and grey and unmistakably them. Then he asked how much they'd put toward retirement. The people who'd met their older face put down noticeably more. When the distant person stopped being an abstraction and became a face you just looked in the eye, and robbing them got harder. The mechanism of the fix is right there in that one experiment. Now the part most videos skip because it complicates the magic. That aging photo effect was mostly measured in a lab with pretend money. When people ran it out in the real world with real retirement accounts, the bump was real but small, and one attempt to repeat it didn't work at all. So this is a nudge, not a spell. Meeting your future self won't drag you to the gym by your collar. What it reliably does is shrink the distance a little, make the stranger a degree more familiar, so the next hard choice tilts a few percent more in their favor. Stack enough of those few percents, and the life bends. So the move is to make future you someone you actually know. Give them a real day. Skip the word retirement, that gray fog. Give them a specific Tuesday. 65. This exact kitchen, 20 years worn. Knees that work or don't because of what you're deciding tonight. Picture what they'd say to you right now if they could see this choice. People who feel genuinely connected to their future self tend to save more and put things off less. And while a lot of that is just correlation, the direction is always the same. The realer that person is to you, the better you treat them. There's one move with a bit of experiment behind it, and it costs nothing. Write to them. In one study, people who wrote a letter to their self 20 years out reported exercising more in the days after. One study, self-reported, so don't oversell it, but the logic is clean and it's free to try. Write to the 65-year-old as if they'll actually read it, because in a way, they will. Tell them what you're doing for them and what you're scared you'll fail to do. It's a lot harder to sell out a person you just wrote a letter to. It's a Sunday night, and someone's about to do the thing they do every Sunday night. Book another week of lunches they'll skip and workouts they won't make, slowly mortgaging the version of them that has to live in this body at 50. This time, they stop and actually picture her. 50 years old, one specific morning on a staircase, and she feels every step, or she doesn't, based on tonight. No lecture, just her face. Then they write 4 lines to her on their phone, plain and slightly awkward. Nothing dramatic happens. They don't leap up and run, but they close the laptop 10 minutes earlier, and that 50-year-old, for once, gets something back instead of build. So you were never weak. You've been generous to a fault with present you and stone cold to a person who felt like a stranger, because that's how the wiring came. The fix isn't to hate yourself into discipline. It's to introduce the two of you. Give future you a face, a real ordinary day, a name in your head. Write to them and let them write back. Treat them like the family member they actually are. That's what Kairo's letter to future you and the zoom out are built for. They hold that person in front of you at the exact moment you'd usually forget they exist. So the next time you're about to hand them the bill, stop and picture their face first. It's much harder to rob someone once you've looked at them.